Welcome to Oh Shit. I am going to patiently wait for my viewers to join. I seem to be going live a minute earlier every night, and it is quite interesting to see how much thought I have on things that are being, sort of portrayed to me. Hi, Sanat, how are you? I'm going to wait for my viewers to join and Una to join. Tonight is going to be an exchange of perspectives, ladies and gentlemen. We have both done our own personal research. We both have our own opinions, and we're both going to share them in a respectful manner with one another. With that said, I think that everybody needs to be made aware of something. My perspective may not change. Her perspective may not change. Your perspective may not change. And that is something that we have to accept and understand, that we are all going to hold different perspectives. So long as we maintain a level of respect with one another, we can have this type of open dialogue. Una and I will be touching on many things. I'm going to welcome her in as I see she's just sent me a request. This is always so exciting and nerve-wracking at the same time. Hi, pretty. Wow, you look very nice.
I washed my hair just for Madi Badran today.
Oh, is he joining us? He's been neglecting my my lives.
Yeah, he better be.
I think I offended him a little bit the last time we spoke. Una, you have been a little more vocal recently on your Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
You have been, hi Tanya, how are you? Thank you, Sanat. You have been sort of voicing your perspective through the words of somebody else. So I wanted to call you back on here today.
Okay.
To voice your perspective through your own words.
Okay.
I want to hear what you have to say on the current situation, because you've been sharing a lot on, the loss of freedom.
Mm-hmm.
And on, forcible isolation and sort of Bill Gates and everything. And I just want to know, what is going on in your mind right now? What's happening in there? What are you thinking?
So, such a hard question. I guess the more time I spend reading, the more time I think I'm asking myself a lot of questions, which I'm sure a lot of people are. We're getting to a point where it's like, what is happening, right? Like, why are things not moving? It's almost like we get a glimpse of hope, and then it's extended for 3-4 more weeks, right? So it really pushed me to do research, to do more reading. And I've always been somebody who's questioned everything. It's just my nature. So I started digging deeper. I started talking to my friends who are doctors, who are nurses, just reading everything I can possibly find, going on YouTube, and just getting different ideas and, just from everybody, and then kind of forming my own thought process. It made me question one thing, that our thoughts a lot of the times are not our own thoughts, that we are told a story from someone. It can be a family member, it can be a friend, and that story is told through them in their scenario or in their kind of way, and that's the story that we believe. So everything that we see on TV and the things that I read, including myself, we start believing those things, right? So when does a time come where we form our own opinion and our own thoughts? And that's kind of what I wanted to talk to you about.
So when I have to ask, now with forming your own thoughts and
Mm-hmm.
going to the sources that you've gone to, has it ever occurred to you that possibly and potentially the newfound thoughts that you are now forming are not necessarily factual?
I think that's, I can ask that for everything. I can ask you that for maybe the news that you're watching or the videos that you are. I think that the most important thing is that we're asking questions. I think it's hard to determine what is factual, what is real, and what is fake news. I think we have to find ourselves somewhere in between. I really stand extremely strong into what I believe in. For me, it's factual because I have talked to so many people, I have read so many things, I have seen them with my own eyes, and this is why I have formed my own opinion. And I think, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to ask. Now you say you keep talking about your opinion, and I have you on Instagram, so I am able to see your opinion. A lot of the people viewing do not have you on Instagram. Would you care to elaborate on your opinion? And now, guys, given that I'm saying that, please understand this is perspective, this is opinion. So if anybody is offended by anything that is said, please feel free to leave right now. We are not here to offend anybody. We are just giving our personal perspectives and our personal opinions, and we also welcome all other opinions as well. But as I say that, I would like you to enlighten us on what your actual opinion on the matter is.
I think that the world is run by an elite, small percentage of people that control us, that want to create a new world order. I think that for the fact, I do think that the virus is real. I do know people are dying. I do know it's a really dangerous thing, but I do feel that there is an agenda that these people have. And we are driven by our fears because nobody wants to get sick. Nobody wants to get the virus. Nobody wants to make their family members sick. So we are just driven by fear, and our critical, analytical mind just is completely turned off. So what I believe in is the fact that I think that these people want to make the world of a less population. I think that these people have a plan and they want to control us. They're already doing it. I mean, in some shape or form, we're controlled by our phones. We're controlled by the things that we see. We know it. And we ask ourselves those questions. So this virus and this quarantine that we are in just makes us, I think, ask more questions of what's truly happening. For me, I'm wondering, I've been watching the local news as much as I've been watching conspiracy theory, and they are finally admitting that the numbers are not as high, that a lot of the people that have been tested are false positive. There's so much information and so much overload. But my thing and what I'm fighting for is the fact that I feel that our rights are being taken away every single day. Every single day, our rights are being taken away.
Now, when I have to ask this question, because as you post the things that you post, you are posting them from isolation. There is nothing physically and literally stopping you from getting out of your home and banging down Parliament's door asking for answers. Right. So with that said, okay, you are still part, and excuse the reference, and I'm not trying to disrespect whatsoever.
No.
But you are still part of that herd mentality. Sitting from your home, understanding the things that you understand, but unwilling to actually physically get up and do anything about them. I mean, when we talk about conspiracies, quote unquote, or when we talk about these issues, we have to understand that we are still talking about this virus. This virus has still technically infected us. So if you want to tell me that, there is an agenda, why don't we talk about the agenda of, before all this, there was so much going on with sex trafficking, missing migrants, Amber Alerts every other day on our phone. Venezuela, Haiti, Lebanon, Iraq, Iran, every single country that we were discussing before this happened. And now COVID happened. And now we have a situation where we have people trying to prove COVID and people trying to debunk COVID. Mm-hmm. But everything else that we were discussing has since stopped. Mm-hmm. Is that not a cause for concern in itself? Is that not another area that we should be going back to and diverting our attention back to?
I think you're asking two completely separate things. So I think that a lot of people think like me, and I think that a lot of people don't think like me. I don't think that if I ever have to go to a point where my freedom of speech is being taken away from me, listen, let's just say, for example, I'm the type of person that if they push a vaccine for this, I will no longer be employed. I will find other ways of income, and that's how strongly in beliefs that I am. If I have to go outside and riot because I feel that my beliefs are being taken away, I will do that. And I don't think I'm at a point where I need to do that, but I would probably want to be one of the first people that will be out. I think that things are being so blown up by the media, and people, again, are so fear-based and so fear-driven that we've completely forgotten about what about the 350,000 to 650,000 people that die of the common flu every year? What about all the heart attacks, the 3 million people that have cancer? All of those things have completely been forgotten. It's all about COVID. And this is what I'm saying. It's a form of control. They are trying to keep us in our fear. So we're fearful of our neighbors. We're fearful to go. My mom doesn't want to see me. My own mother doesn't want to see me because she's afraid that she's going to get the virus. Respectfully, so I'm going to respect everyone's opinion. I'm not going to go outside without a mask or without gloves. But to my perspective and the way I see things, I personally don't have a fear of this because I've been exposed to illnesses. Will I survive this or not is a question, but I'm not afraid of it. It's not going to stop me from not going outside, from not walking my dog. And there's so many other issues that are happening. Alcoholism, people are eating like shit, violence. Nobody's fucking talking about that. Excuse my language. Nobody's talking about that, right? People are talking about COVID-19, how many deaths. You go on your TV and you see this red number, 1 million people sick, 250,000 people died, whatever the fucking numbers. I haven't seen it in days. But this is what we're based on. And these are the people that come on my page, on my Facebook, and I share my opinions on 5G, on vaccinations, on what I think this is. And these same people argue with me that have no actual facts, that have actually not sit down and taken 5 minutes out of their time not to Google stuff, because we know Google is not, we know who Google owns or who's owned by Google, but actual taking time to do some research and question. And I think whether anybody here agrees with me or doesn't agree with me, or whether I'm wrong or whether I'm right, all I want is just people to question things. Like, just question what their motives are, why these things are happening. Why did Justin Trudeau go to his cottage and we can't even cross the bridge to go to Quebec, right? Like,
and now I'm not going to sit here and disagree with anything you're saying, because I do believe in the ability to question things. I genuinely believe in that. And I think that you have to question everything you're being told. But what I want to ask you, and everybody watching this who believes in this new world order, so say there is this new world order, and they're the same people that control Google, would they not be the same people who have for centuries owned the world, have for centuries created encyclopedias, every form of information that we have? And I mean, I don't want to sound irrelevant or out of context, but when you genuinely think about it, any information that you're getting is to be questioned. The information that you receive and that you believe in is to be questioned, and the information that I receive is to be questioned. I mean, yes, I can't believe everything I see on the media, and I can't believe everything I read when I go to do my research. But what I have to find hope in is that the things that I do believe in, or the combination of things that I do believe in, hold some validity. And now when you come online and you say the things that you have to say, and you say them from a point of isolation, what happens to the people reading it? Have you ever asked yourself that question?
To be quite honest with you, I genuinely don't care. My feelings are hurt every single day that I turn on the TV and the media is feeding me some bullshit crap. about something, right? So I'm not like, I've stopped caring if I hurt people's feelings, because if I'm hurting your feelings about something that I'm sharing on my page, you shouldn't be on my page. If you would like to have a discussion on the way maybe that I think, I try to approach everything with a sense of respect. Oh, sorry.
Oh, you froze.
Sorry. I try to approach everything with a sense of respect, right? People don't think like I do. People don't read maybe as much as I do. So to answer your question, I really don't care what people think, because they can form their own opinions. And going back on your point, these people, they control our food, they control our water, they are our governments. And for whatever why would we think that our government even gives the slightest bit of care or gives the slightest bit shit about us? Before 2 weeks ago, Bill Gates was the king about bringing a vaccination, and then this whole war started on him because people started doing their research, and now he's like the most hated man in the world. So we trusted someone who's been funding vaccinations for years and years, and now we're hating this person. So it's also the same people that have attacked me, basically saying, how can you hate on Bill Gates if he comes up with a vaccine? That's a great, he's a wonderful man. And it's the same people now that are talking shit about him. So my opinion stands strong. I've always believed that. I've been talking about this as long as I've read a book about New World Order, which is crazy, which most people are like, yeah, right. It's happening. It's happening. It's happening slow. They've been manipulating us through education. They've been through media, through everything that we do.
No, I'm not trying to disprove anything you're saying here, because I respect your opinion as much as I respect my own. But what I have to ask is, as much as you say, you know, I don't care, don't look. From isolation, you're saying these things. From being complicit, you are saying the things that you are saying, yet you are still complying to what they are telling you to do. You do not know that the things that you are complying to and the information that you are sharing is not going to push somebody to get up out of their home, go down to Parliament, and do the things that you are personally afraid to do, that you are unwilling
I'm not trying to do that, and I'm not afraid to do that, because find 10 people that are willing to come on live and talk about this.
Right.
And I'm sure a lot of people think like me, right? Find me 10 people from today until next week who are willing to speak about exactly what I speak about. I'm complying because I'm complying. I'm still a part of society. My body is connected, but my spirit and my mind is not connected to, quote unquote, the matrix. I can still have, until I can have still a free will and my own mind and a way of thinking. If I have to go down to Parliament and protest, I've done it before in my life, I'll do it again. But a lot of people are afraid to speak their opinion and what they think, even if it's not this opinion, even if it's somebody that comes on here and says, this is real, the government is helping us. People are still don't have the balls to come and speak their opinion. And that's the problem, because we're driven by fear.
Now, I want to ask you, do you know anyone personally who has contracted the virus?
I don't know anybody personally, no.
Okay. Do you know anyone personally who has an at-risk condition where they are more likely to...
My father.
Okay.
Yeah.
So given that personal attachment, do you have a fear at all that, despite what you're saying, if this is potentially real...
It is definitely real.
Okay. So you're not denying that there is a virus?
I've never, ever denied there was not a virus.
So your belief is personally that they are using the virus to control the masses?
The virus is very, very much existent, and it is there. Like, I think I would be ignorant and stupid to say that there's no virus. There's 100% a virus. It's the numbers that don't add up. It's the numbers. Going back on your question, my father, yeah, I obviously respect it. I don't go see him. I respect the social distancing. I'm not going to force my opinion and my belief on somebody. I'm not going to go stand close to somebody just because I believe something different.
Right. So I want to take it back to this because a lot of people view this situation as negative. Whether it's you're viewing the virus as the virus itself or you're viewing the quote unquote, again, conspiracy as negative. What if, and humor me for a moment, everybody watching, humor me.
Mm-hmm.
What if this was a positive thing? What if this was, you know, there is a virus, let's keep everybody in their homes, and while they're in their homes, have you received any Amber Alerts on missing children?
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard of any school shootings in the USA? Have you heard of any missing migrants recently? Have you heard of anything detrimental to our society recently since this virus has come out? What if, again, and I say this, humor me, this is being used to control the masses, yes, but not in the negative manner that we assume, in a positive light.
How can you control the masses in a positive light?
Hold on. What if it's to sift out the underground world? We have sex trafficking that's going on that nobody talks about. We have organ trafficking that's going on that nobody talks about. We have an entire group of indigenous women that are missing on the daily that nobody talks about. So what if this is to locate all of that? What if this is to control all of that? Not to mention the cages of children in the United States that went missing, that was swept under the rug. What if this is to control, locate, and find all of those things? We can't automatically assume that we are always being targeted and trying to be, you know, the government is trying to get us. They're controlling our freedom of speech. They never once said, Una, you can't think. They never once said you can't think. You know why they took off those videos of 5G? Because people who are schizophrenic, people who have not the same level head as you do, who are not isolating and spreading the information that you do, are going out and burning towers. Because it's a potentially violent environment.
There's scientific proof that 4G, 5G is detrimental to our bodies.
I'm not debunking that.
But let me ask you this. All the videos about coronavirus are being removed off of YouTube. Any video where it questions whether the coronavirus is real, whether 5G is correlated with the coronavirus is being removed. But yet, every single cabal video that you see about Tom Hanks, Oprah, all these other people is still on YouTube. Why? Maybe, just maybe, there is multiple things happening at once. Maybe they're trying to distract you from truly what's happening. Look, I'm not taking away that all of this is happening. I still do believe in that. I do believe that there's some sick satanic people out there. I do believe that Antichrist, I definitely do believe that. I think that I don't know a lot about the Bible, but I do know that what my fiance has told me, that the end times are near, and he's explained things to me. There's so many things I could ask you from your page. You're so strongly opinionated about women's rights. Why aren't you posting anything about it? Why aren't you having people on your show that showcase in a positive light of human rights? I think the point is here in general, it's just that we are in isolation. People are losing their mind. People are worried about their jobs, about their businesses. People with children like yourself whose kids are not in school, right? Like, we spend a lot of time on the phone. Our mind is going crazy. And again, it's all about the fact that you have to find what's right for you. Like, you have to find what the right answer is for you. What I'm saying to the masses here, half of them might not agree. Half of them might agree, but they have to, all I want to do is I just want to encourage people to dig a little bit deeper into finding information, because from what I see, our numbers are going down from the local news. They're admitting a lot of the numbers are false positive. They're admitting that the numbers have been inflated. All of this shit that I've been talking about 2 weeks ago and being attacked for now is coming to light. The 5G towers are going up all over the city.
What if, and again, I'm not trying to debunk or disprove anything you were saying. Please, nobody take me for that.
Oh my God.
I'm also not trying to prove anything that you're saying. But what I have to ask, okay, is that with all of that information, how do we, sitting where we are, you're in isolation, I'm in isolation, have this conversation when neither one of us are willing? You say they've taken away our freedom. They've taken away our freedom. They're slowly taking away our freedom of speech with the removal of information off of YouTube, with the removal of videos and whatnot, right? Have they taken away your freedom of mind? Will your mind ever be taken away from you?
There was an article that was released a couple of days ago about the federal government trying to impose a new law on people that are intentionally ill speaking against coronavirus.
Yes, I read that.
Okay. So if that's not a rights violation, the other day I was walking my dog, and it's not even like where I live, it's not even a park. It's just this little walk area. She's a puppy. I threw a stick to her a couple of times, and this couple was looking at me like, you're not supposed to be here. Like, we are turning against each other. Like, there's a hotline that you can call to report your neighbor if his daughter came over to see him. Like, this is a type of like manipulation that's happening. There's a line that you can call. There's a line that you can call to report your neighbor, to tell them.
I agree with you. But at the same time, Luna, what you have to understand is that the information that you are also spreading creates a division as well. So how do we not know that this information is all being spread from the same source to cause these social issues, to keep us divided? How do we know that?
Well, I'm not I'm actually here trying to get people to come together in the most political correct way that I can say it without actually physically being together. I'm trying to tell people to try to open their eyes and not do those things. Because if I miss my mother, who I haven't seen in a month, and I can't go over her house even to see her because I'm afraid some jerk across the street is going to call the police and the police is going to come, the police has full authority to give you a ticket if you're sitting in a car with your family to take a drive down to Mooney's Bay. Like, if you're telling me this is not a violation of rights, then I have no idea what to say. We need to come together as a community. Whether we're protesting or not, it does not matter. Together, we're stronger. When people are aware of what's happening and even just questioning their motives, we are stronger together. I'm not going to call. If I see you with your friend walking down the street, not 2 feet apart, I'm not going to call to report you. I'm hoping that you're an adult to make your own decisions. We are turning against each other, and this is what they want. Fear is turning us against each other. We're glued to our TV sets. We're glued to our phones. We're reading the death rates. And that's what's scaring us, because everyone's afraid to die. Nobody wants to get this illness. Nobody wants to scare anybody. We're afraid we're not going to get our money. We're afraid our business is not going to be back on. And we're creating division. And this is exactly what they want. They want us in our house, away from each other. Listen, why do people come together at church? Because when you pray, meditate, you create an energy. You create an energy force that can move mountains, that can move people. They're separating that. They're separating us.
I'm not here to disagree with you. What I am here to try to understand and to try to make everybody aware of is the information that you're saying, and even what you've just said. Now, for example, I have a lot of questions. You're not understanding the virus. You're not understanding the virus. We're not here to talk about the literal virus. We're here to talk about the social virus that this virus has created.
So if people want to talk about the virus, I'm happy to talk about the virus, because there's factual numbers about the virus and everything. So you want to talk about the virus? Let's talk about the virus, because I have every single number in my mind that I can talk to people about. I have no problem with that.
I personally, I want to talk about the social virus that this literal virus has created. And that's the one we've been talking about throughout the year. So I want to bring it back to something, for example. Una, I am very level-headed. I understand the things that you say. I can read a post that you post, understand it, agree with it or not agree with it, and make my respective decision on whether or not I'm going to share it. The reason why a lot of times I have not shared, not just things that you've posted, but things that a lot of people have posted, the reason I haven't reshared them is because I'm not just taking into account my mental state when I read it, but there is an entire demographic of people who are mentally unable to comprehend that information. And if you tell them or I tell them, hey, you got to distrust the news. You can't trust the news. And they're in a home where they can't trust the people in their home. And they're in a state of mind where they can't trust their own personal thoughts or beliefs. How do you know that that information is not going to push them into a direction that could worsen our society, could worsen their mental state, worsen their home environment, worsen their life? It is one thing for you to ask questions and for you to be aware of the questions you're asking yourself, being in the proper state of mind that you're asking and being aware in.
Mm-hmm.
But to put that on somebody and to say, if you don't like it, just don't look. You do not know if you are pushing a schizophrenic off the brink, if you are causing someone to tie a noose up in their home and hang themselves.
But okay, so I think we're all responsible for that. I think that we all have a social responsibility for what you said. It's not like it is our job to spread the news, but my post and what I post is, for me, it was a harsh reality. Reading these things made me not sleep at night. Reading these things made me worried about my future, about the future of everybody, of all the earthlings in the world. If I ever want to have it, I'm doubting if I ever want to have children in my life. What is it doing to my psyche? What is it doing to everyone's psyche? My post is going to be less effective than us being in quarantine for the next 3-4 weeks. You want to talk about psyche? Let's talk about us being prisoners of our own homes and being limited to the amount of times that we go out for whatever else. So it's sometimes a harsh reality of things. Like, it was a shock to my system when I started reading things, started exploring, started opening my mind. I was depressed and I couldn't believe it. But there was so much proof in front of me, in front of my eyes, that I have to share it. And I do it because I'm passionate and I do it because I care. I don't do it because I'm trying to create issues. I'm trying to argue with people. I genuinely just care from the bottom of my heart, and I'm worried about humanity.
You believe in what you're saying as well.
But I'm worried about humanity. I am worried about all of us. So if my post is gonna drive one person off of the cliff when I'm trying to do something, what do you want me to say? There's a million other posts that this person is reading and saying, I'm not responsible for somebody else's actions on the post, because that's not fair to say that I think you're probably using a really harsh example, but other people post things that offend me all the fucking time. It offends me that people post false numbers on the coronavirus. I'm offended every day. I don't go and lose my shit on people, right?
Right.
I'm offended that I turn on the news and pictures that are from Italy are shown in New York. That shit offends me, because that shit is propaganda, and that makes people worried, and that creates even more fear. So what I'm spreading, I'm trying to spread actual facts, whether they're facts, they're my facts, and through my research that I've done, they're facts. These people are admitting that they're spreading false news. If anybody's creating fear, it's not me, it's them.
Right. Now, Una, if you were to say one thing right now on this situation, what is the biggest thing that's upsetting you about the entire situation? Is it forced isolation? Is it, do you believe that we should be doing sort of a herd immunity type thing? What are your actual beliefs on the matter? What do you think would solve this problem to you personally?
Look, I'm not worried about this or isolation. I think we can be in isolation for a really long time. I'm worried what's gonna come next, and how many more times we're gonna go through this until the people that don't want to get vaccinated are forced to get vaccinated, are forced to get vaccinated to go back to work, are forced to get vaccinated if they want to travel. Look, if you want to get vaccinated, all the power to you. My hat's off to you. I respect you. That's your opinion. People who do not want to get vaccinated, like myself, what if I can return back to work? What if I can return back to society? It's not what worries me now. It's what's going to worry me a month from now. And what's going to happen when quarantine number 2 comes around, right? Like slowly, it's like we're in a maze and the maze is slowly closing on us. And I am worried and scared that people might start opening their eyes when it's too late. There's so much data and so much information what 5G does to our bodies. I'm terrified. Like, we're not even asking those questions.
Okay, so Una, being where you are, saying the things that you're saying, and you, aside from planting a seed and making people more aware, you can't change anything, nor can I change anything. So what is going to come from being more quote unquote woke? What is going to come from this understanding is what I'm trying to establish here, because we are in this situation and we are stuck in this situation. So essentially, what is going to come from this mentality?
Somebody just asked if I was vaccinated. Yes, I am. I wasn't born in Canada, so the vaccination in Eastern Europe is very, very different. Yes, I was vaccinated. Sorry, ask me that question again. Sorry, I was just reading the comments.
It's okay. I'm saying for somebody in your situation, in my situation, we're here, we're stuck in isolation, we're going to be in isolation until it is lifted. The mentality of being more woke, the understanding and the awareness, knowing is one thing, but does it literally change anything for you? What are you getting yourself prepared for? Because if you were this woke a year ago, you would have technically have been prepared for what is happening right now, but you weren't. So now you're here and you're trying to mentally prepare yourself as much as you can for the year to come, or however long it takes. What is your hope from spreading this information, or even just you alone understanding the information? How can you prepare for the unknown?
I don't think anybody could have prepared for this. Like, I went to work on Friday. I got my coffee. I went into the office. I left Friday, and then Monday on the weekend, I was told that our office was closed, right? Like, I don't think anybody can prepare for this. And I don't know what I'm trying to, or sorry, I don't know what my next step is, but what I am trying to do is I'm just trying to get people to, again, just ask questions, not be driven by fear, and not be driven by the numbers of the people that are dying and of a virus that kills majority of elderly people, and virus that millions of viruses that have been in our bodies. And yes, this one's different, it's harsher, it's more mutated, I know, but I just want people to just stop for a second and see their life. Sorry, I'm getting called. I just want people just to stop for a second and just picture their lives, and picture their lives like this couple more times and longer. And what is the outcome? Like, what do we want as a society, as a humanity? Bill Gates said we won't be all together until 7 billion people are vaccinated. Does that not scare people? Does that not scare you?
I mean, to be honest with you, I have to say that my fear in the situation started off high. And quite, like, in all honesty, I started off very fearful of the things that I was hearing, the numbers I was reading, as any person would. But I don't think at this moment that anything scares me. I think I have my own predictions for the future. I think that the vaccine will be mandatory. Not only do I believe it will be mandatory, I believe they will be knocking on our doors to forcefully give it to us in our homes. This is my personal belief. It is speculation. It is perspective. But I do personally see it coming to that, unfortunately, because of mentalities, and I don't mean to be rude, but mentalities like this that don't want the vaccine, that want to resist it and want to be against it. And I think that whenever we're talking about a resistance, okay, and we're talking about something that is set in stone that we're trying to just push against, Una, you have to understand that if you really want to be against this virus, this whatever it is, this isolation vaccine, you have to know that to do that, you have to go back to talking about the things that you used to talk about, not trying to debunk the situation right now, because all they've done is diverted our attention. okay? And we're sitting here trying to figure out, what are they taking our attention away from? They are taking our attention away from the things that we have paid attention to for the past 2 years. The important things that we were discussing. And that is the situations that were happening in every other country. And that is the situations that were being spewed on social media before COVID happened. But now what we're trying to do is prove or disprove COVID. You haven't really accomplished anything with that argument. All you've done is given them your mind willingly. You've adapted a sense of a herd mentality, just with a different herd. If you really want to tell me that, you know, they're taking away our freedom of speech and they're isolating us and taking us away from our family and this and that and the other thing, now they've also taken your mind and you've willingly gave them your mind. Why don't you say, you know, let's go back. Let's backtrack to what's happened in all these other countries. Let's go back to that 12-year-old girl who was trying to fight for climate change that nobody even acknowledges anymore because we're so focused on COVID. But we can't because we are so fixated on this situation and trying to disprove or prove our beliefs that we have given them not only our freedom, but the freedom of our minds.
Look, I get what you're saying to a certain degree, and it's almost made us impossible not to be functional members of society, because I'll just go and live in the woods and quit my job and just live off the land, because that's really the only way you can get off the grid. And that's the only way you're not going to be a functional member of society. Like, you're not going to pay your taxes anymore. So in that sense, yes, because we all work, we all pay our taxes. But at the end of the day, it's like there's a deeper problem than that. And there's a much deeper level. And I feel that people are slowly awakening because people are slowly asking questions. Whatever the question was, I see Hassan Jama, I know he knows a lot about 5G, and he'll probably enlighten us. And Tanya, about herbal, like, people are slowly waking up. And I think you have some valid points. I don't think we're following the herd. You're going to have to follow some herd at some point, right? Are you going to follow the mass herd of people that are going into the wrong directions? They can come knock on my door for the vaccine. I'm not going to take it. There's no way. No matter what happens in my life, in my fiance's life, whatever it is, we are not going to take it. Because if they force the vaccines on you, you no longer have freedom of speech. You no longer think for yourself, and you no longer belong to yourself. You belong to the government. So if that day ever comes where they're knocking on our doors to give us vaccines forcefully, is that the day that people are actually going to wake up? That's a scary day to think of, that you will be forced to take something where you don't know what's in it. I actually know what's in it, but not that specific one, but some vaccines, right? Like, is that how we want to live?
I think that I'm not trying to say the government knows more than us. And I'm not trying to say that they know less.
Of course they know more. Of course they know more than us.
Yes, in a sense of, but I mean, in the terms of freedom of thought, they don't know where our minds can go. They can take away our freedom of speech. They can shut us down. They can, if I go and try to post this video onto YouTube, they can very well take it down. And we're all going to be like, oh, look, they're taking down her video because they don't want them talking about the things that they were talking about. But maybe it's because they don't want us perpetuating a mentality that could further people into a state of hysteria.
No, they don't want people. Why, Tara, why are they removing any video that's against COVID-19? Any video that was posted, screw 5G, put that aside. Any video that's going against the coronavirus, the numbers, everything's being removed. Why? Why? That's a simple start to ask yourself that question.
On the other hand of it, and again, I'm not disagreeing with you, but I have to show all perspectives on this show.
Okay.
So what if they're removing it because of these types of personalities and these types of perspectives? What if they're taking it away to say, hey guys, we don't want you to not take this seriously. We don't want to push people into the thought process that this is not a serious thing. Maybe that's why they're taking it off.
I've never, in my history of being in Canada for how many years now? I've been here for 22 years. I've never seen YouTube hire so many people to block and delete videos that have anything to do with conspiracy of the coronavirus. They don't want people to think. They don't want you to fucking ask questions. They don't want you to go and be like, what's this COVID-19 all about? Did you know that we have 7 strains of coronavirus that most of us have been exposed to that's been around since the 20th century? Not COVID-19.
But Una,
they don't want people to know that. Tara, look.
If they take down a video, is that going to stop you from thinking?
No, of course not.
If you're stupid, it will stop you from
thinking.
No,
of course not. That's not the point. The point is that they're trying to limit what we are reading. They're slowly weaseling their way through social media, including posts on Facebook, including posts on Instagram, to delete stuff. They're physically going out of their way to write facts. I don't know, somebody posted the other day, I think whoever it was, and I reposted it, Bill Gates doesn't vaccinate his children. Right away, 2 minutes later, I got an actual fact, Bill Gates does vaccinate his, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like they're going out of their way purposely to make sure that you are taken away, that you don't share your truth. Why are they doing that? But I can go on YouTube and I can say, I have cured COVID-19 with turmeric tea. And nobody is going to post that, even though that's bullshit and false information. I found that cow piss cures COVID-19. Put it all over my face and drink it and I'm cured. And they would not remove that video. Why? Why are they removing the video? The person that's walking through New York is holding a camera and saying whatever he's talking about. It doesn't make sense.
But at the same time too, like, and I'm going to attempt to post this video to YouTube and we'll see if it gets taken off or whatnot. But what I want to ask is that we're sitting here discussing this. I'm a hairstylist and you're a fucking recruiter. So to tell me that they're not going to take this video off is basically saying that, like, if we were 2 scientists discussing this and then they took the video off, then maybe okay. But for me, if they were to take this video off, 100% I would understand why.
They're not going to take the video off because
your freedom, girl. They're giving you your freedom.
They're not going to take this video off is because nobody's denying the fact that COVID-19 is real. And like everyone knows there's a virus. I think we would be stupid to say that there's no virus, that all this is just for whatever reason. That's why they're not going to take down the video. You have to say things like it's a hoax and all that other shit for them to actually remove it, right? So my whole thing is there's so much evidence and there's so much out there that proves over and over and over time again, actual facts, what happened in Italy, why it happened in Italy, shit that they don't show you on TV.
Like, okay, so let me ask you this. Your personal belief.
Okay.
Was COVID-19 man-made?
Man-made?
Yes. I'm asking you, Una, from your mind.
Okay.
Was it man-made?
So this is my opinion on this. There is a US patent on coronavirus, not on COVID-19, on a coronavirus. Anything that has a US patent on it, including HIV, including Ebola and SARS, was created in the lab, okay? So what makes me think that also this wasn't created?
Okay, so do you believe that cancer was created in a lab and sort of put as carcinogenics in our food, in our water, in our everything to kill us? Do you believe that measles was created in a lab, polio was created in a lab? Do you believe that autoimmune disorders were created in a lab? How does that belief extent transcend?
I'm not going to answer the polio question because my beliefs are something very different and I don't want to stir that pot. Cancer is due to so many things. And I think a lot of people can comment on here, including Tanya, probably Hassan, and people that are active. And it has to do with many things. It has to do with our nutrition, it has to do with our stress levels. It has to do with our way of life. And I don't know if cancer was created. It's something I can't answer, but I know that cancer is something that we get because of bad lifestyles. That's all I know. But any other disease?
It's not the same thing at all. Autoimmune and polio, you can't compare it all or say that. Shania, I understand where you're coming from because I know you have an autoimmune disorder. I also have an autoimmune disorder, so I get that. But I'm just trying to classify immune disorders in general and anything that attacks the immune system.
Hassan, yeah. You don't catch cancer. He's right. Exactly.
You can't catch cancer, no. But the thing is that you can get cancer. And if we're going to assume that they made one thing, why don't we just assume that they made everything? And that's the thing. It's like, how can we not assume these things?
See, Hassan said, you develop cancer. And he's right. Like, and I think that I'm not a professional at this. I can't answer. I've had family members who had cancer. They smoked their whole lives. They ate like shit. You know, they were not active. They didn't produce everything. Oh, in a way they did because of the food that we ate, of the garbage that we put in our mouths, of the polluted air. Like we can think about everything, right? Like if you think about it, anything and everything can give you cancer, really, right? Like if you don't live the right lifestyle, if you're not taking care of yourself, chances are you're probably not going to live very long. But when I'm talking about viruses, that's a different thing because a lot of them have a US patent on it. How do you put a US patent on HIV? Like, it's on there. It's on the US government patent official site. It's on there.
So what is this, Una? Is this biological warfare? Is that your belief?
If it is, it's against us. It's against the masses, which is us. Now, Tara, population is growing. We're living longer, right? Like we are, what, 7.5 billion, almost 8 billion people in the world. We're living longer. People are taking care more of themselves. We're more connected. People are choosing a healthier lifestyle. What's going to happen when we get to 10, 11 million? Who's controlling that? If they're controlling us in the things that we do, Facebook tracks you everywhere. It's on your phone. You can go on your iPhone and you can go into a setting and it tells you where you were for coffee and how long you stayed there. Are you telling me that they're not watching our every single move, listening to every single conversation, selling us, right?
You're
like,
letting them. You're letting them on this iPhone right now.
But this is my point. They're selling us shit, right? Like we'll talk about shoes, and then next thing you know, Aldo will pop up. What the hell makes us think that they're not doing other things? Like
of course they are. But when you come to me and tell me that we need to raise awareness and we need to be understanding and you know, accepting of everything that is said and, you know, research and this and that and the other thing, you're still willingly giving up a little bit of your freedom. You know, when Hassan Jama, or not Hassan Jama, sorry, Hussein Musa was on here telling me, even if you can be insincerely different, try to do that off his iPhone that we were FaceTiming on. You want to talk about being insincerely different? Well, then why don't you go buy a flip phone? If you're worried about 5G, why don't you turn off your Wi-Fi?
It's everywhere. You can't. Like it's everywhere. You go on the street. It's everywhere. That's like, yes, you're right. You can be that way, right? Like you can go, you can buy a flip phone, you can get rid of your phone. You can be that way, but we're not programmed that way anymore. We're starting to become technological beings. And I can have an opinion and still be on my phone, still be taking selfies, still being a part of society, which I am, right? Like you're either off the grid completely or you're in it. But just because I'm in it, it doesn't mean that I'm a part of it.
Listen, I once had a vegan tell me, okay, and pardon me for anyone who's vegan on here. I once had a vegan tell me, animal rights, animal rights, animal rights. I will not eat meat. I will not eat meat. The environment, the environment, the environment, but I'll eat fish. Is the fish not a fucking animal? You cannot preach one thing and deviate in another manner. It is hypocritical. It is so hypocritical on many levels. So for people to tell me, like, I'm afraid of 5G, but I'm going to talk on my iPhone, I don't get it. Personally, I don't get it. It's either one or the other. And it has to be extreme when you're talking about extreme topics. And yes, Elisa,
look, 5Gs are going to be, the towers are going to be installed every 100 to 200 meters. It's inevitable. It's inevitable. Whether you have a phone, whether you don't, I can have a flip phone and I can be living in my cousin's backyard, growing my food 5G is going to be everywhere. So it doesn't really matter. Like the poster going up is going everywhere. 5G is obviously another topic, but it's for faster internet. It's 20 times faster. It's in my opinion, Hassan Jama might think differently. He's an engineer. He understands this. In my opinion, from what I've read, from the people that I've talked to, this is some serious shit. And I could be wrong. That's why look, we have to be open to hearing other people's opinions. Just because I'm talking about 5G and I have my belief, I could be wrong. Maybe Hassan Jama is going to come on after and he's going to educate me. He's going to be like, actually, Una, this is what it is. This is what I'm saying. Like, we're so set in our ways. I am set in my ways too. But nobody can...
Sorry, everyone keeps attacking me over saying that a fish is not, is an animal. Sorry, people, just to explain my personal perspective on that, anything that has two eyes and a heartbeat is living and breathing, is an animal. So don't come and tell me that it's not an animal, it's still alive. That's all I'm trying to say, is that you're eating something live, it's been killed for your consumption. To me, that is hypocritical, yes, and I stand by that. If you have your opinion, I respect it. This is mine. Go on, Una. I'm sorry I interrupted you. I had to clarify.
People are so funny. Yeah, anyways, like, point being is we're not going to agree, and we can agree to disagree with everybody. Everyone's just waiting to get the fuck out of their houses, live their life normally. But I hate when they say the new normal. Why do we say the new normal? Why?
Because it's going to be the new normal. Una,
because we're accepting it. Because we're accepting the new normal. Okay, we're accepting that our lives are going to be this.
Go listen. Get up and go hug your at-risk father. Go hug him and tell me you're not.
I'm not sick. I haven't been exposed to anybody. 10% of people show no. They're saying, first of all, they said 70% of people show no symptoms. They said that from the beginning, and now it's 10%. I've been isolated. I ain't sick. There's 3 billion people in isolation. And what? How many? Let's say 1 million. They're saying that they're sick. What's happening to the people that are not sick? If my hug is going to kill my father, like, it is so insane. It is so insane. I've been isolated at home for, what, a month now? I have to be afraid to go hug my father because I've been at home and I haven't been exposed to anybody. And I'm more worried that I'm going to get a fine if they see my car outside than me hugging my father.
Listen, I'm with you on multiple levels only because I've had my business taken away from me, my only form of fitness taken away from me. I've had a lot taken away from me. So don't say that I'm completely complicit in this whole thing. I'm not thinking. But what I'm trying to understand is why the way that our thinking is going, it perpetuates a damaging train of thought to a lot of people. And like I said,
somebody asked if I go to the groceries. I do go to the groceries. I wear a mask. I wear gloves. But I also see the same people that have been working at the groceries for the past 2 months that are still there every day without masks and gloves, and they're still working there. Guys, hold on a second. This is my perspective. I don't go into the grocery store worrying that I'm going to get COVID-19. I don't. Me personally, not any of you, I am not worried about catching this virus. I'm not worried. I don't live my life in fear. I'm not going to not go outside and go to the grocery store and not touch an orange. I wash everything. I do the procedures as I do. Me personally, I'm not worried to get this virus. I still respect other people's opinions, other people's spaces. I just don't live in fear that most people live in. I don't. And maybe I'm wrong for thinking that way, but I don't. And I told you this in our last conversation, I have freed myself from that fear. I don't have that fear in me. If it's my fucking time because I'm gonna die of a virus, then it's my fucking time, right? I can't run away from that. I can't stop my life to go to the grocery store with gloves and masks and walking around like this and going around 10 feet of everybody. I'm trying my hardest to protect the people around me. And I respect everybody, and I do it for the people around me, not for myself.
Or you have 26 seconds at saying, give me your best shot.
Nothing, that's all. I've talked so much.
I love you, I respect you. That was so much fun, Una.
Hassan, I can't wait to hear what you got to say about 5G, man. You better make it good.
Hassan, you want to come on right
now? Yeah, Hassan, come on.
Whoever wants to come on. I'm gonna see who added me. Let's see. see who wants to chat. Everyone can type more, but no one wants to go live. Let's talk.
Hassan, come on.
Guys, that was awesome. The Instagram shut us down. If anybody is still up and willing to debate, I am still here. I'm going to give it like 5 seconds. You guys have, whoever sends me the first request will be the first person I speak to. Hassan, you had a lot to say, and he is supposed to be on tomorrow night. Who wants to chat? You guys, I'm giving you like 1 minute before I get off. Yeah, I'm waiting for Jama. Actually, Hassan, he's going to put a shirt on. Oh, Hassan is coming. This screws me over for tomorrow night because Hassan was supposed to be my live, but I'm going to chat with that man tonight. Anyways, let's see. This is fun, guys. Let's see what Hassan has to say. Elias is too much of a chicken. Elias is a keyboard warrior. He can say whatever he wants to say behind a keyboard, but he will not get his ass on live. And yes, I did say that, Elias. Where is Hassan? No, get him on. Yeah, it is fun, guys, but it's just me. Hassan, how long does it take to put a shirt on? He made his own live. Oh, Hassan. Ya Allah. People, I tell you. I love you too, Rima. I love you too. Still drinking boiled water. I gotta move to something harsher, but that would be haram. Hello! You gotta
What's up?
What are you walking around your house naked for? Don't you know they have 5G in your home and they can see you?
Listen, half the people on here we already know. Look.
Hey, you have 48 now. People, yalla.
Hold on, I gotta tell my wife to turn hers off because it's like it's feedback.
Steph, turn your shit
Go upstairs, Steph.
So, Hassan, what do you have to say about 5G, Mr. I've been working on this patent for years.
No, I didn't say I was working on the patent. I'm saying 5G is nothing new, but I will explain at a high level so people understand. So, first of all, people don't even know what 5G means. So they think it's 5 gigahertz.
Right.
Well, 5G just means 5th generation. So it's a new protocol on top of existing protocols. Okay, so you have 2G, 3G, those are GSM. Before that, you'd had pre-cellular. Let's say in the late 2000, in the early 2000s, you had different evolutions of phones, right? And that had different capabilities. So you had your first iPhone, which couldn't do much. Then you had the iPhone on your 3G, which is a little bit better. Then you had a 4G phone, and then you have LTE phones, which is still on 4G. So those are generations. So those generations basically have frequencies allocated for them, but they're all sub 6G. So 5G is just a new protocol. So what it means is you take the existing protocol and you repurpose different frequencies. Because how it works is, I'll tell you first of all why people panic about 5G, and this just pisses me off. So people don't know that they think 5G means 5 gigahertz. So that's mistake number one. They confuse 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi with 5G cellular, which have nothing to do with each other. Wi-Fi is a totally different thing. Cellular is a totally different thing. So why is 5G better? The reason why it's better is because it has new software, beamforming software, which allows you to steer signals specifically to users from towers. But these towers are repurposed towers. When you get 5G, you don't lose 4G. Your 4G towers remain, but you add more towers because you have new frequencies within the 6 gigahertz band, which is low frequency, which is not low, but it's not high frequency. The dangers were this. When 5G started testing in China, which is way ahead of us, and when my company, I work for an aerospace company, we have 5G with aviation, so space. So when they first started testing with it, they were testing at super high frequencies, which is, they call it basically 30 gigs and above. And those are called millimeter waves. So basically at that frequency, they were able to get crazy amounts of data, low latency, extreme amounts of data. Basically, you can download a movie in 1 second at 250 gigs, let's say, in 1 second, where now you can do maybe, I don't know, 50 megs at best, right? So what these guys realized is the higher frequency bands are very ineffective because it's a short signal. It can't go far. In fact, if it goes a meter or two, it hits a piece of leaf on a tree, it'll not work. And it's too expensive to deploy. So China, to get an advantage, what did they say? They said, okay, how can we get ahead with this new protocol? Because 5G is a generation, it's a protocol. They said, how can we get more data through our pipelines, more information by repurposing existing networks. So what they did is they said, okay, we can build a gazillion towers for the high frequency, but because the towers have to be so close to each other, it'll be way too expensive. And they can't get the phones to work because your phone will die because it can't handle the power. So they said, okay, what's the cheaper option? We can go with the expensive option, which gives us amazing speeds, but it's too cost effective, too costly. So they decided, let's go with the new, like repurposing the existing network. So you take what you already have and you assign new frequencies to increase coverage. So the point of 5G is increase coverage, increase bandwidth, more data, right? And it's a smarter way to send data. So you can do 10, 20 times what you were doing in 5G. So they do that, right? So once they do that, they're quickly able to build new towers that work with the new software and add to the existing network. So now China have fully connected cities. The reason why they want this is not because they basically want everything to be connected. Meaning I could be able to walk outside. I will have maybe 3 million devices within a small area of a block, cameras, mics, everything's connected. I don't have to even have my phone. I can go in these cities and I can just say, I want a Big Mac, I want to get a car, I want to do this, and it knows all my information. So they have this in many places. So basically they have fully connected cities. South Korea has it, China has it. Those frequencies that they're running are existing networks. They're running on frequencies that Wi-Fi already runs in, Bluetooth, 3G, 4G. It's nothing new. In fact, the only thing they added was 600 megahertz, which is a small frequency that used to be used for TV.
What's to say, what is the research, if you know it, or what is to say that living next to these towers is not...
I'll explain to you. So right now, the tower that you are going to put up is no different than the tower you were living with. There is no doubt that long-term cellular damage could be a problem. But just because a tower looks crazy, remember I put that post, a tower looks scary, right? You see it, you're like, holy shit, that thing looks scary. How much watts comes out of that? Forget frequency, 100 watts, 150 watts. Okay, your human body does 100 watts. Your phone does 1 watt. The problem is not just watts, it's how far it is, what that tower does. These new 5G towers, actually, they're smarter. They propagate 6 signals. They figure out how far you are and how much they reduce power so that it doesn't just blast you like the older towers. In fact, 5G is way more efficient. That's why you could do more. So the real danger, if you want to worry about your safety, let's say you're worried about electromagnetics around you. Your whole house is full of waves all over. UV, more dangerous. You have light bulbs. There's signals all over your house. So don't tell me that a new technology, which is 5G, based on existing technology, is going to be any worse. I'm not saying it's going to be great for you long term, but you're not going to drop dead today. It's going to only give you what you are already exposed to. You're already exposed to these. When we roll out cellular technology, there's a lot of testing that happens. The government auction you frequencies. A company has to do all kinds of SAR testing. So they do absorption testing with where do you put the phone relative to your head and how much energy is going into you. And we already know a phone on your head is very bad for you. People don't know that. They should know that. So if you want to protect yourself, don't tell me 5G is the problem. 4G, 3G was doing the same shit to you. Don't put your phone on your head. Don't sleep with it under your pillow. Put it in Wi-Fi mode. Don't leave your Wi-Fi modem in your house close to where you're sitting. Put it in the basement. Don't use your phone. When you turn on your phone, it's max power, right? So right now, if I turn on my phone, that's when it emits the most power. So don't put it on your head. Use Bluetooth, which is very low power. If you want to avoid using your phone in low signal areas, you ever use your phone when it has low signal or in an elevator and you wonder why it's getting so hot and the phone dies? It's because your phone now, it's simple how it works. Your phone needs to get to a tower. If it can't, more than one tower try to talk to your phone. So this is going to give you basically heating, more heat, your phone is exerting more energy, and so that is dangerous for you. So if you're in a basement or a rural area with no signal, don't use your phone. If you're worried about, cellular damage, because trust me, the cellular damage is nothing compared to what you do day to day.
Hassan, I see a lot of comments. They want to know if EMF protection is good for you in the house.
No.
If our towers mean more EMF protection.
No. So you have to understand, okay, look, just because if there's a tower let's say your hydro tower, which is, by the way, way worse for you. So let's say now you're driving in, and I think they put it in bad neighborhoods on purpose because they want to drive that value low and they don't care about those people. So let's say you're driving on Heron and it's the hood and you see these huge towers, hydro towers. That is not good for you. Long term, not day to day. But a cell phone tower, those are way less power and they're low frequency. They're not going to damage you like a high powered, generator system like a hydro. Those are more dangerous for you. Obviously, if your face is next to it, that's not great, but that's not day to day. By the time a signal gets to you, it's irrelevant. These signals can barely go through walls. They can't even go through. So it's no more danger than what you were already experiencing. So that's
does using a speaker, is it less dangerous?
Yes, of course. The dangers with the phone are this. The sensitive parts are if a man, let's say, has his phone in his pocket all day, that's going to cause damage, potentially, in future, let's say to sperm count, or it might cause some kind of deformation. So you shouldn't leave your phone in your pocket all day. Whether it's on Wi-Fi or cellular, both, run on 2.5 gigs or 5 gigs. So those are not good. Long term, the phone on your head, on your skin, and when you hold your phone here versus here, it's 10 times less dangerous. So never do this. But they don't tell you that. They should tell you that. Cell phone companies should tell you that, but they don't. But that's most people know that. Like, don't give your phone to a baby. Don't let your kid hold your iPad right in their face. People do that all day. They don't want to take care of their kids. They shove the iPad in his face, and he's getting zapped all day. That's a lot worse for you than 5G. But people don't know what the levels of danger are in terms of numbers, right? So they don't advertise it. So most people don't know. It's just for guys that study in microwaves and engineering. Like I work for an engineering company. We do aerospace. Okay, we work for military. We do we do dangerous shit. Like my building is. We have specific rooms for testing. We have specific equipment. That stuff is high power, high frequency, very dangerous. A phone, I mean, it's irrelevant. And I have, how many PhD guys work with me? They're all professors at university. If you ask them about this, they'd honestly just start laughing. The whole danger about 5G came when they started talking about millimeter wave, because the army used millimeter wave for like crowd displacement. They shoot a beam and it burns you, it heats you up. But these are high-powered instruments. The frequencies that we're going to be using, yes, if you put it on airplane mode, that's the best thing to do. When
the best thing, yeah.
Yeah. So what I do is when I go to sleep, I don't put the phone beside me. I put it on airplane mode. And then even on airplane mode, your Wi-Fi could be turned on. So I take that off. So you take that off, and that's a safe. So I had this discussion with my friend. His name is Farouk. He's a professor in Waterloo. So he's a PhD RF wireless engineer. He used to work with me for about 8 years. I asked him, and he spelled out all the day-to-day stuff. He's like, it's funny. He's like, people worry about towers because they look scary. He's like, the cell phone, the Wi-Fi, your baby monitor that you leave in your baby's room. These are the things you should be worried about. Your baby monitor, don't put it near your kid's head. It's a 2.4 gigahertz. It's not high power, but when you're a baby, the star absorption is more. You're going to get it more into your head because you're still developing. When you're a man, you shouldn't put it on your like in your pocket, like where your genitals are, and walk around all day with it. And I used to do that. I didn't know before, right? But there's best practices. But to say that, we're going to stop 5G because it's going to end the world. Listen, whatever they could do with 5G, they could have done it with 4G. 5G, what it is basically is more data, more bandwidth. They repurpose those frequencies, and the world needs it because basically you're going to be so behind. You think Israel, USA are going to be behind China? No way. China is so ahead right now because they invested in it. They're good, and you know where they're deploying all this? All the 5G that you see in Ottawa that people worry about, there's no difference in the 5G in Ottawa than the 4G. All they did was add 600 megahertz, which is a TV frequency, because it gives you longer range, because it's a longer wave. So you get a signal, it's more coverage, and they repurpose existing frequencies so they can basically add more power. But it's not gonna be worse for you. The millimeter wave, the 30 gigs, potentially could be worse because they haven't done cellular testing on it. But with my company, we've done all kinds of applications with millimeter wave, but it's up to the government. So how it works is this: government allocate frequencies, they auction it. The US military runs the US. That's why in the US, Verizon, all these companies, they don't have super high frequency 5G because the government is telling them, what the government's telling them is what's the existing bands, which is the sub-6. The military runs most of those. They don't want these companies to mess with theirs because it's like they have specific frequencies that they need to keep, like for security reasons. China doesn't give a shit because China, the military, the companies, they're all in one. So basically, the military in China or the regime there, they run everything. So in the US, it's different. The US has to say, okay, let's say I'm the FCC. I have to say, okay, Verizon, I will give you this frequency. That's all you get. And then they told them, go use high frequency, but it's too much money. Those companies will become bankrupt. They cannot afford it. So when people tell me, oh, they saw birds falling down from the sky, like, that's just outrageous. It's 1 watt. It ain't gonna kill a bird. Maybe the bird died for some other reason. Or they say, oh, some bees died. No matter what the technology is, it has to be, every government has their approvals, right? So you have FAA, you have FCC, you have different, governing bodies. And these companies have to document. Yes, you can say, yeah, they might spin it in their own way and pay and bribe. But if 5G is dangerous, how are the elites protected? It goes everywhere. It's not like you can say, oh,
Hassan, with all that said, do you believe that the quote unquote 5G conspiracy is just that? It's plain bullshit.
No. It's not bullshit. It's all started off with the millimeter wave. They said it's gonna fry you. Yes, potentially millimeter wave is dangerous, but guess what? We are not using millimeter wave technology. We will not use it. It's too expensive. It's like telling you, okay, hey, Tara, give me 10 times more speed it's going to cost me $1 trillion, but I can do 5 times the speed. It's going to cost me 5 million. Obviously, you're going to do this now, right? Maybe in 10 years they get there, but it's inefficient right now. It doesn't work. So when people tell you, oh, studies on millimeter wave show heart issues, cataracts issues, yes, military applications of high power. There's a big difference. It's not just frequency power. There's, and people just assume, oh, like a microwave.
Well, there's been a lot of talk. There's been a lot of talk because there was a tower that went up in Orleans, and a lot of people, and I actually, I felt a little bit weird driving by it, straight up. And I'm gonna put this out there. Whoever wants to think I'm an idiot, think I'm an idiot. I drove by that tower, and I was saying to my husband, I'm like, man, I feel dizzy. I feel uncomfortable. I'm starting to feel anxious. But at the same time, too, reality has to settle in. And the reason why you're feeling all the things that they're telling you're going to feel around these towers is because of what they've told you about the towers.
So my friend, okay, he's not an engineer or anything, but he's like a spiritual guy, right? And he calls me every day, and he's going crazy because they're putting up these towers, right? So he works for Rogers, but he doesn't understand how RF works, right? So I explained it all to him, and he was sending me all these articles, and I showed him why those articles were wrong in terms of what they were talking about. Not wrong. Listen, conspiracy doesn't mean you're wrong. It's also an understanding that you have that you might believe, right? So like now, let's say I'm a fitness expert and I know how to diet, and I go on, and a normal guy goes online. How much information is there? How does he know? I want to lose weight. What the fuck? Keto, this, that. Every day there's a new thing. That's what confuses people. It's the information is too much. So now that these towers are up, my friend calls me every day. He's like, yo, I feel dizzy. I have headaches. He's like concerned. And I told him, I'm like, listen, I think it's in your head because they're not using any new frequencies. So what they're doing is what was already happening. They just repurposed, and the software is smarter. So now the software knows, okay, Terra's there. I'm going to shoot signal directly at Terra. It's not going to go fucking all around. So that's why it's more efficient and it's faster. So it's just like, people are paranoid. Like my mom, she's in the medical field. She's sending me WhatsApp fucking messages every day from shit that people pass around. And it's like, I'm convinced that the people who own WhatsApp and Facebook put out this shit.
Yeah.
To make people, to muddy the water and make it even crazier. Like some of this stuff is comical. And she tells me, is this what's going to happen to me? She doesn't want to use her phone. She doesn't want to use anything. And I'm like, holy shit, man. And she's an older lady and like, she's not like techie. So she believes it, So this is the problem.
Well, and again, with these theories and these ideas is that you could say anything. I can say, okay, they said 5G is going to make you feel this way, give you anxiety. But what if the contradicting argument is just giving you anxiety, and the real agenda is that they're trying to send you anti-anxiety medication?
So do you know why 5G is needed? Right now, there's not enough computing power, and when they use artificial intelligence, they can't do what they need to do for into purposes of advancing humans. Okay, so right now, you have a government that's running on a specific like platform, and you can only do this much data. So you say, okay, eventually I want fully automated highways. I want to be able to do surgery with no latency, perfect, like real time on a guy who's fucking 2, 3 cities away. I want to be able to advance the automation industry. Oh, there's so much advancements and things that people would like to use. So they're not gonna, because this, they already see the benefits of it. There is many applications of 5G in military, but those guys have their own purposes. The military is always ahead, right? So China, they're like, you know what? We want to be the world leaders in terms of 5G, because 4G they lost, they were behind. So now they're like, we're gonna do all these, and then we're gonna design all the apps that run on this, and then the whole world. Now look at China. They're building hundreds of thousands of towers, sending it to the Middle East, where my parents live. They're sending them to Europe. They're sending them to Canada. All these 5G towers, you think they're ours? They're Huawei towers. China develops them, sends them here. We just add the frequency and run their software. So if anything, the only danger is surveillance, because now China knows what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah,
China knows what every single person in China is doing. I've been to China many times. They fucking know, you walk into the store, they know you are. Everything. From your voice, from your eyes. They don't need your phone, they don't need your wallet. So that to me is a problem in terms of human privacy. And I don't think it's gonna get any better, because when it comes to Canada, we're just gonna take their network, because we don't have the infrastructure to develop it our own. The US now, they're thinking, shit, we gotta like rechange our whole system, because if we just take what these guys give us, then they're going to be in our backyard. So that's the dilemma. Security, not dangers in terms of power levels.
Yeah, it's security and it's personal information. I see Tanya here. Talk EMF protectors, filters, paints, etc.
I didn't even know that they sell these, but I mean, there's filtration already in your phone, so it knows what to filter versus what not to filter. And my friend basically bought, like clothes and different things to protect them. But like I said, at the power level that they're emitting, it's negligible. When we do SAR testing, it doesn't even get through your first layer of skin. So if anything, let's say you were worried that it was dangerous, you might, at high frequencies, the only thing that happens is you'll get a skin burn maybe, or that's how it works. It's not going to penetrate through. It's only dangerous when it's right on your head, and for children. That is the kind of like concern. Like a microwave, okay? A microwave, you might say, how does a microwave work? It's 1,000 watts versus a phone. So it's a high frequency, but it's also 1,000 watts. And it's still in the non-ionizing. So how it works is like there's stuff that affect your DNA. Those are called ionizing frequencies that are above 6 gigs. Let's say now you're talking, when you go get an x-ray, why do they give you protective gear? Because they know that x-ray is not something you could do every day, right? So you do that. When you go get an MRI, or when people get skin cancer, why? Because you're getting excessive UV. Those are ionizing, they cause danger. You can get cancer. The sub-6 stuff, it's nothing to worry about. Even a microwave, they say, oh, it's worried, but your microwave is the food is inside, and your appliance, unless you buy some piece of shit, it's protecting you. These things don't come out, so it's not like you're gonna get damaged. What people get scared of is so simple. When they hear radiation, they think like Chernobyl, right? So that's how people think, like radiation. They're like, oh shit. Well, your body radiates, everything radiates. If you could see what's in your house, you'd be surprised. But there's a difference between damage to your cells versus stuff that's not gonna, like, benign, And cellular damage, cellular phones, there's like loose evidence of, they maybe in 10 years or 20 years, something could happen. So what I'm saying to people is, as a best practice, because when we did SAR testing, like absorption testing, we see, oh, this got more hotter, this got more penetration, so it's probably better to do this. That's all people need to know. But as far as danger.
The issue is that, okay, so there is this whole, again, 5G conspiracy. This is what sort of, they're keeping us in our homes to put up these towers. It's a heightened hysteria, which is making people feel the symptoms that they're saying people are going to feel. It's the fear of radiation. Like you're saying, it has always been around. It has always existed. Now,
so towers, basically, so the towers, listen, they've publicly displayed what they're going to do. The rollout is obvious. You go on Rogers right now, they tell you, we just got 600 megahertz. We're going to be doing this. It's not like it's hidden knowledge. Because like I said, the 5G that they're rolling out is a cost-effective 5G. It gives you improved power, speeds, but it's not like game changer stuff. What China will do in 5-10 years will be, but they are willing to invest the money. Those guys have crazy money. Here, Rogers, they're not going to spend, billions of dollars, to give you. And like whoever has a 5G compatible phone, let's say, when you start using it, it's actually, you won't even notice it because I'm not using 600. I don't live in the farms. I don't give a shit. I'm getting the same coverage that I was getting, and I'm getting almost the same speed. So the thing is, it's almost not worth it until they get full 5G, but that won't happen. Like the 5G roadmap, we have roadmaps basically of when things will be. Canada, USA, 2025. So whatever you're seeing now, it's like first stages. It's like repurposing frequencies. It's like saying, okay, it's like saying I have channel 1 to 30. I'm gonna do these with these channels and adjust the software. So as far as physical danger, when the signal comes out, it's not gonna damage you. But honestly, like everybody knows some RF engineer, like it's Ottawa, it's fucking all engineers. You should just go ask them, like, hey, I'm concerned about this. What would you say about this? And most of them will tell you, listen, we work in high dangerous frequencies, high powers, and there's nothing to worry about. There's stuff that's dangerous, but the day-to-day shit that people are hearing, it's all based on like one study that comes out and then someone says, oh, it's dangerous, and then now everybody else. So just because a government, or let's say, Talal.
I just read that.
No, Talal is my good friend, so we have fun. So basically, when people say, oh, this is something new, it's gonna do this to you, it's no more dangerous, no less dangerous than what's already existing. And the high frequency application, I don't think it'll ever happen because it's not cost effective. And again, the signal is very weak. It can't go like 10 feet without failing. And when it hits skin, leaves, anything, it's a weak signal. So they're not gonna like invest in that, regardless of how much.
It's not 5G. Okay, it's not 5G. What is it? Other than
what do you mean?
What is it?
What's what?
What is it? We've debunked and disproved 5G.
No, 5G is real, but it's just a new protocol over
But
existing protocol.
I'm saying as a conspiracy of the corona or whatever people want to link it to. Say,
I'll tell you what they're deleting.
Yeah.
Imagine you're a telecom company and you're spending billions putting up towers to work on existing networks because you need more towers because you want to add coverage, right? And you're like, fuck, these guys are burning my towers. They're burning 4G towers. They're burning regular phone towers.
Yeah.
Because they don't know. Like the average guy who sees a tower, it looks scary. You think you're gonna know what a 5G tower? You know what 5G towers look like? They're really small. They're like little light. There's different sizes, right? There's different applications. Most of them are like little light bulbs. Yeah. Like a lamp, like in the street. But people don't know that, so they're gonna go and damage them. So I think they're damage. They don't want you causing damage to something that they've invested in when there isn't anything wrong with it. So that's why I think. And there's some crazy theories that they're gonna put a chip in you and activate it. Hey, if they're gonna activate a chip, I can do it with fucking anything. I can do it with Bluetooth. I don't need 5G. So that's basically the concept of how signals go. Like, I don't need 5G to activate something if that's your logic, right? 5G.
Well, there's the whole theory that the vaccine that they're going to be giving us for COVID is linked with a microchip, and they're going to put the microchip in, and then they're going to use the 5G to turn that microchip on. Your phone is and always has been your microchip. For everyone who doesn't understand that, you are carrying around a microchip. They can track you anywhere they want with your telephone, with your iPad, with any form of technology that you have on you. So to say that they're going to inject you with a microchip and then turn that on with the 5G network is basically saying that you don't believe that they can do that to you right now with your iPhone, which they can.
So right now, let's say first of all, they don't have an injection chip. It doesn't exist. They have there's I don't want to get into that, but so let's say now you have some tracking device in you that marks you, right? That says that I will be able to know who you are. That is real. If I have an RFID, I can know where you are. But guess what? I have my phone. I have an RFID. There is already so much surveillance on you. They fucking know everything you do. You can talk on your phone when it's off. They know what you're doing. So it's not like it's going to get any worse. In my opinion, I'm going to get some benefits out of it because it's going to make my life seamless. When I go outside, I'm just going to say, get me this, and it's going to come. You know, people are going to enjoy it. Right now, everybody's right now talking. You're enjoying everything. What we're doing right now is all technology. You're enjoying all this, and then, oh, now 5G. Guess what? When there's a picture, when the phones first arrived in like 18, whatever, you could see all the pictures and videos they were doing, like to scare people. You know, people were getting zapped. It happens always. This is the new thing. They got a hard on for it, 5G, next 6G, which we are working on. Because in aviation, when in space, we have 5G application, we have 6G. There's stuff we're doing that's going to be way worse than what they're doing now. We're launching like 27 in this year or next year. We're going to be launching 7,000, 10,000 satellites. They'll be giving broadband to the whole world. If you're going to worry about something, maybe you should worry about that. There's way more dangerous stuff. But I think right now, just 5G is like the sexy story, you know? That's kind of in the middle.
Yeah, it's a good line, you know. It's something new. It's something people want to talk about. Now, I think that honestly, with this all said and done, when it comes to conspiracy, you can prove and disprove any conspiracy, but you cannot change the minds of the people who believe in it. And I'm not here to do that, and you're not here to do that. It's enlightenment. It's just saying, hey, there's another perspective. Hey, there are actual facts. So let's.
No, this is the way I look at it. Okay, technology it will always evolve, right?
Yeah.
There will always be bad applications of it. And what you think is bad, the military is doing 50 times worse with cyber warfare and all kinds of crazy stuff. So basically, you can't escape it unless you live in fucking Afghanistan in the mountains. You know, they got fucking 5G in my home. In Somalia, they have phones, cell phones, wireless. It's going to be everywhere because as a country, you cannot be left behind because you will fail. So imagine China, who's already a super elite, is rolling out all this technology, infiltrating all these networks, making all this crazy money, and the USA says, "Oh, we're not gonna do it." You're gonna be fucked because they could fucking do all kinds of stuff to your security that people are worried about, you know. But it's too late. Like the way I look at it, it's like an inevitable thing. So I'm gonna control what I can control. I mean, we design weapons, all our antennas. So we work. The company I work for, we design communication systems for Army. I mean, it's the stuff that they do, you know. I'm not gonna ask what they're using the missile for. Missiles have antennas. They fucking go everywhere. They can track anybody anywhere through basically satellites. They know where you are, or drones or whatever. It's just part of life. And so either take it or go live in that's what I say.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. And the thing is that we're all saying what we're saying on the devices that we're complaining about. I think that's just like the valid statement that we need to be, you know, make aware. There is a level of being hypocritical. Real facts, educate, source, like journalism, respectable sources where to get your information. Yes, agreed. Hassan is in this industry. He knows what he's talking about. He's not pulling facts out of his ass. So thank you, Hassan, for jumping on and saying what you said. Now I have to ask you, because you were supposed to be on my show tomorrow night.
Yeah, but a different topic though.
A different topic. So you're still coming back?
So we're not going to talk about 5G.
Okay, thank you. I just need to know if my schedule got screwed up or not because
No.
I got
Tomorrow we're going to talk about the gym, and Coach Talal can join us. We're going to have a gym discussion because he's also.
we're going to talk the gym tomorrow, and I have my own perspective on that too because I trained with your wife a little bit, and I threatened to train you a little bit, and you laughed at me. So we're going to chat tomorrow night, Hassan, about the gym. Guys, thanks for tuning in. Hassan, thank you for jumping in.
Yeah, no problem. No. Yeah, I'll post more like, I think, you know, people, like I said, there's things you can control. And there's a lot of stuff that I think these entities, whatever you want to call them, they deliberately muddy the waters. It's like the Trump campaign. There's so much garbage out there that you don't even care what Trump does anymore because you've seen it all and heard it all. So to me, that's what people should be worrying about. Because sometimes I look at these videos and I'm like, fuck, you know, this is a big production. Whoever made this, like, must have fucking money. So it's not like I made it in my basement, you know? And so people need to just be careful and ask real professionals in that league. Because the way I see it is, if something is dangerous, this technology, then it's going to be deployed around the world. So we're all in equal danger. You know,
It's
when
true.
signals are flowing in the air, it's not like Bill Gates can't be hit by the signal. He's going to have a phone. He's going to be in the same environment as all of us. So we're all in the same fucking amount of danger, you know, as far as radiation.
Well, I think it goes to say we can only control what we can control, and that's our minds, ourselves, and our you know, our actions, and the information we consume, right? Hassan,
Yep.
I see you tomorrow night.
Okay.
Guys, thank you so much. FYI, my hair is gonna be straight again tomorrow night. I ain't washing that for none of y'all, especially you, Mister.
No, this was fun. Where's Una? She left. Tell her thank you. It was a good discussion.
It was good, Una, and I'm sorry if you guys feel like we got overly passionate. I wasn't disagreeing with her. I just needed to show the other half, and I was trying to preach for the other side. So
Okay.
thank you to both of you guys, and
Amanda, hi.
we'll see if this makes YouTube, or if the leaders of the free world will take our voices off.
They'll delete us, but it's okay. We can go back to like a phone, like normal telephone.
Yeah, normal telephone. We'll post mail letters to each other.
Yeah.
All
Okay.
right,
Bye. Have a good night, guys.
Take care, guys. Bye. Guys, again, that was awesome. That was unprecedented. 2 people in one night, and you know, both had very valid things to say. Una, thank you so much. Hassan, thank you so much. I will be speaking with Hassan again tomorrow night on a completely different topic, which I will post in my story later. Thank you guys for tuning in and your engagement. I'm sorry if I didn't get through everyone's questions. Things were rolling quickly. I love and respect all of you, and I'll see you tomorrow night. Take care.